Hello gang, here's another land training video for you. This week's is a bit different, pairs of exercises. You'll still need your weights, whatever fashion they take, and a mat or a towel, and water to drink throughout. So as I say, pairs of exercises, 1 minute per exercise, 30 seconds rest between the pairs. As in the real world, we're going to start with the warm-up, approximately 30 seconds per exercise. Okay, going to start with jogging on the spot. Throughout the warm-up, you want to still be able to hold a conversation with someone, so it's that kind of pace and effort. Moving on to butt kicks. And back to jogging again. And then we are moving to high knees. Really pick up your knees, pump your arms if it helps. Try and keep those high knees going for the whole 30 seconds. You can see I did struggle though. And then we're back to just jogging on the spot after that. And it wouldn't be warm up without jumping jacks. And back to jogging again. And side steps. I'll warm up the inner thighs. And back to jogging for one more time. Well done. Should feel nice and warmed up now. Go and grab a drink and get ready for the first circuit. Okay, our first pair is streamline squat and calf raises. Off we go. Streamline squat jumps, my apologies. Keep your arms above your head at all times, and make sure you're landing in a squat and starting the next jump in squat position. Legs just slightly wider than hip width apart. You're probably sick of me giving you all these instructions by now, particularly if you've done all the videos so far. Okay, and onto the calf raises. Simple, grab your weights up onto the balls of your feet. This will burn by the end of the minute in your calves, which is the back of your lower leg. Tea break time. First of many today, you'll be pleased to know. 30 seconds. Doesn't last long at all, does it? So, now press ups. If you're strong enough, do them from your toes, hands in line with your shoulder joints. And remember, you're lowering your whole body down, not just your chest or your hips. All of it needs to be lowered. And try and keep that line as flat as possible from your shoulders down. If you need to drop to your knees, as you can see I did, not a problem. Try and keep your legs at an angle so there is still some challenge there. And then we're going to do its mate, the diamond press up. Hands together, thumb and finger making a diamond shape, and have it under your chest. Same principles apply. You want to stay as flat and as long as possible. Do them on your toes if you can. If not, knee is fine. Just make sure you've got that angle on your knee. Bit more tricky with the diamond press up. And much harder to lower your hips when you drop your knees. And another tea break. be plenty of those, but they are all only 30 seconds long. So make sure you keep drinking. Onto your back now, bent over rows. So I'm going to keep your arms bent as you bring them back, squeezing the shoulder blades towards your spine. You're tilted slightly over as if you're going to do a deadlift. Keep the arms quite boxy. You want to try and keep your body as still as possible on this one. And then onto the upright row, or smiley elbows as we sometimes call it. This will work all across the top of your shoulders. You want to bring the weight up to your chin, making sure those elbows are tilted upwards towards the sky. And as you can see, you can do it with any manner of weight. Whether it's a dumbbell, a bottle of water, can of beans, it will all work. Spoiling you with all these tea breaks today. 30 seconds, keep drinking. Right, on to one of the newer exercises, the hip extension. This will open up your hips nicely for breaststrokers particularly, but will do everybody some good in the hip area. So straight leg, make sure you're pushing back from the hip. If you bend your leg, it won't work. And as you can see, my foot is slightly flexed. And it's teammate hip abduction, so it's taking it out sideways. So this works the outer side of your hip. I hope you develop strength for that breaststroke kick. Whether it's your favourite stroke or not, doesn't matter. And obviously make sure you do both sides. tea break time again. Onto the shoulders, overhead press. I know most of you are very familiar with this one. Start with your arms in the 90-degree position and then lift the weight up and over your head and back to 90-degree position. A simple but effective exercise for your shoulders. And dumbbell shrugs. You want to make sure your shoulders go up and down, no rotation at all. You don't want to be trying to loosen off your shoulders with these. It's just straight up and down. And don't bend your arms either. Keep them just straight and just sort of hanging with the weights. Not a hard exercise, but good for your traps. And another tea break. I don't know what you can do with 30 seconds except have a little drink, get your breath back. Hope you like the next exercise. This is a favourite of mine for the core, Russian twists. It is such a good strength builder. Excuse me. So, taking your weight from side to side, you need to balance on your bottom, feet off the floor if you can. If it hurts your back, drop your heels to the floor. That's no problem. Be purposeful with these moves, as if you're really taking the weight from side to side. No flapping. There's no benefit with flapping. Also, hold the weight close to your tummy, because if you hold it too far away from your body, you end up doing some kind of arm and shoulder exercise, and that's not the purpose of this one. And then on to a good pairing mate for them, V-sits. Again, balancing on your bottom. Little rowboats sometimes help some of you remember what these are. So as you extend your legs, bend your arms back. As you extend your arms forward, bend your legs. If you find it hurts your back too much, you can always pop your hands behind you, as I believe I will demonstrate in a mo, just to give yourself some extra support. There we go. You are a little flatter with this one, but you'll still get the benefit. And you will feel the burn across your tummy as well. tea break. Another one. Enjoy. Back to the legs. Lunges with rotation. So you're going to step forward, twist the weight to the side where the knee is forward, and then step back to neutral. Good effective exercise this, will strengthen your legs, your bum, and then it works your tummy at the same time when you're twisting with the weight. So if you've only got time to do a few exercises one day, I would always chuck this in because it covers pretty much everything from your ribs down. So good and efficient, as well as effective. And then deadlift. Having worked the front of your legs, it's good to work the back of your legs. So we're going to keep the weights close to the edge of your thighs. You want to bend underneath your hips, and I cannot say this enough. If you bend above your hips, you're actually only bending your back and you're putting pressure on it. So look after your back. Make sure that you are bending under the hip and at the top of the thigh. Okay, you want to keep that back as flat as possible as you go down. Soft knees. You should feel this in the back of your thighs. Some people feel it in their lower back as well. It does depend on your flexibility. But it's just a pulling sensation. And then another tea break. Still drink. We might only be doing these in pairs, but you still need to keep hydrated. Okay, onto the chest press. This should be very familiar to those of you that have been to land training before. Just lowering your upper arms to the floor, so keeping them bent, and then you bring the weight up and over above your chest. Your arms are fully extended above your chest. So working the pecs, an incredibly important muscle in swimming. And look at that, you get a bit of a lie down at the same time. Oh, and don't forget to bend your knees. This protects your back during this exercise. And then onto its teammate, chest flies. These ones are different because you keep your arms straight at all times. You're going to lower your arms almost to the floor. Let them hover just above the ground because then the tension works your muscles a bit harder. We're still working the pecs, just in a different fashion. And as before, bend your legs. Protect your back. And another tea break. Have another little sip of whatever you're having. I'm hoping it's something like water or maybe squash. Coke is less helpful during a training session. Okay, back on our feet for the reverse flies, working our back again. So, unlike the bent over row, we're keeping our arms almost straight, but we're still squeezing those shoulder blades towards the spine, working the lats, some of the upper back. Like with the deadlift, you need to tilt under your hips just very slightly. You don't need to go that low, as I hope you can see there. But you do need to be tilted forward slightly to get the full benefit of this exercise. And then back on the floor because we are going to do renegade rows. We are really hitting the latissimus dorsi today. But as swimmers, that's a big important muscle for you. So as you can see, you're on all fours. Keep the weight and your arm close to your body as you bring it up. Almost have the elbow pointing towards the sky at the top of the movement. Obviously, don't forget to do both sides. Make sure you're not twisting the body. All about the movement in the shoulder and the arm and the upper back. And it's tea break time again. You're so lucky. Enjoy. Okay, glutes now. Donkey kicks. Donkey kicks are always the one that kick up to the sky or the ceiling, depending where you are. So on all fours, legs at 90-degree angle, and you're pushing upwards. Keep the foot flex because you better get a better squeeze in your glute muscle then. That's the big, massive muscle in your bottom, in case I haven't mentioned that before in another video. The bum muscles, if you like. And don't forget you've got two sides. And then, of course, always paired with a fire hydrant. So this time you're taking your leg out to the side. Legs are still at a 90-degree angle. Keep your foot flex. This is working the outer side of your hips and glute muscles, but it does pair nicely with the donkey kicks. I've just noticed my right arm is in a funny position. You want yours a bit more under your shoulder. Don't copy me on this one. As you can see, it's not a big move, the fire hydrants. You don't want to be really twisting your spine, engaging it too much. It's about working the hip muscles and the glutes. Tea break again. I trust you're not having a biscuit or a piece of cake with every tea break. Right, back to the shoulders. Starting with the front raise. So with your weights, keeping your arms straight, just lift to the height of your shoulder joints, no higher, and then slowly and carefully controlled lower down to your front of your legs, your hips. It is really important to control bringing the weight down, because then you work the muscles harder. Otherwise you're in danger of flapping about as well. And as you know, I do not want flapping in my exercises. And if we do the front raise on its own, we're going to do the side raise on its own. Same principle, don't take your arms higher than your shoulder joint, keep them straight, but this time we're taking them from the side of your legs up out to the side. If you have choices of weights, sometimes you may feel you want a lower weight, just maybe 1 kilo less than when you do the front raises. But I will leave that to you. And it's tea break time again, you lucky people. Back on the floor, another core one for you, scissor kicks. Bit like a slightly dodgy backstroke kick. Make sure you're kicking from the hips, point your toes, and then just take it up and down. Don't touch the floor though, the hovering is what adds to the exercise and the benefit you get from the exercise. This works your lower abs, so underneath the six pack, so to speak. Pop your hands under your bottom if you need a bit of extra support, no problem with that. Crisscross, pretty much same principle, but instead of up and down you're going from side to side. Again, this works your lower abs, but coming from different directions, and this is what strengthens muscles, is training them different ways. Yeah, this is hard if you're not used to it, especially for a minute. So if you need to drop your legs, take a second and then continue. So be it. With practice, you'll get stronger at these. Well, would you look at that, tea break time. I'm off for a slab of chocolate cake. Okay, back to the legs and bottom. Goblet squat. Take your legs nice and wide, or as wide as is comfortable. There's no competition for getting your legs the widest on this one. Feet turned out, a bit like a ballet dancer or a gymnast. And then you're just going to lower your weight to the floor. Try and keep your knees over your ankles as you squat down. And keep your torso as upright as you possibly can. You'll feel this in your thighs and in your bottom. And since we're in that sort of wide leg position, let's do the plie squat. Remember this one, you stay in squat position and just lift your heels off the floor. Works your calves a treat, and it's a little bit more intense than ordinary calf raises. I like both though. And both will help you maintain your mobility in your ankles. Pretty blooming important for swimming. And you can just put your hands where you're comfortable on that one. Oh, another tea break. They're coming round, aren't they? Sip that water. Okay, dumbbell overhead. I know a lot of you like this one. Very simple. Start with the weight above your chest, and with straight arms bring it above your head and hover above the floor. Don't let it touch the floor, you'll lose the benefit of the exercise. Legs bent as before so you can protect your back. Okay, well done. And then we're on to dead bugs. So still on your back, legs at 90 degrees, extend one arm above your head and the opposite leg. Keep the leg hovering. Again, this is important for the exercise to benefit your front and middle. tea break time again. Okay, back extensions, great for the mobility of your lumbar region. Laying flat on the floor, hands at your temples, just a small move to get your chest off the floor. You don't have to come massively high. It will depend on your flexibility in your lower back as to what feels good in this exercise. Good. And then the other one that's good for your lower back, swimmers. This is arms and legs extended. You lift opposite arm and leg off the floor and just keep alternating. And be aware, sometimes it's hard to keep it going without accidentally switching to doing the same arm and the same leg on the same side. And it's tea break time again. Okay, onto the bridge. So works your bottom and your core. Start laying on the floor with your legs bent, and then you push your hips up towards the ceiling. You want to try and get a sort of ski ramp effect along from the knees down your front. Squeeze your bottom when you get to the top. You can add a weight if you need extra challenge. Either way is fine. Now we're going to flip over onto all fours. Leg pulse. So you start in the same position as you would for donkey kicks, but have your leg extended. If you have your foot flex, that will give you a bit more of a squeeze on your bottom. And all efforts to increase your glute strength are good. And obviously don't forget to do both sides. Tea break time again. I know, they're fast and furious on this session. Onto our bicep curls. Simple but good for your arms. Lift the weight or whatever you're using up to your collarbone and then slowly and controlled back down to your thighs. The more controlled you can do it, the better you're going to work the muscle, so the greater the benefit. And of course, if we work the biceps, we've got to work the triceps for balance. Tricep extension. So you're taking the weight behind your head just by bending your elbows. You want to keep your upper arms as still as possible and keep your elbows close to your head. Keeping the elbows close to your head is often the hardest bit of this exercise, but it does make it more effective. And it's tea break time again. Okay, you'll be glad to know it is our final pairing of exercises for this session. Starting with the plank. So you want to be on your toes and on your forearms and then as flat as possible. Should get a nice burny sensation across your tummy. That's how you know you're in the right position. So just going to hold this for a minute. Do remember to breathe, it makes a difference. And pull your tummy button towards your spine. And our final exercise, we're going to do 30-second side plank on each side. So again, on your forearms and on the side of your feet, you want to get your hips lifted off the floor. And swap sides. Same premise, get those hips up off the floor. and you are done. Well done for getting to the end. Enjoy your stretch down. See you soon. Have a drink at this point if you need to. And we're going to start on our fronts as usual. So just laying flat on the floor, up on your forearms, you'll get a small stretch across or up your abdominals and your tummy. And then we're going to straighten the arms to lift your body up a little bit higher, and you'll get a deeper stretch down your front. Only go as high as you can. Everyone's flexibility is different, so depending on the flexibility of your back, that will dictate how high you can come on this stretch. And then we're going to come back on, sit on our heels, forehead on the floor, and stretch the arms forward so that you can stretch the upper back, open up the shoulders. Now we're going to roll onto your back and pull your knees in towards your chest. This will stretch your lower back. Rest your head on the floor. Important to do that, otherwise you'll just get a strain in your neck. So we're holding these for 30 seconds each, all these stretches. Okay, 1 foot across the knee and pull in the underneath the leg. This will stretch out your glutes. And of course, swap sides. You should feel a nice pull in your bottom when you do these. Up onto your feet, we're going to do the swimmer stretch first, where you hug yourself. This will open up your shoulders and your upper back. It is important to stretch down, guys, so please do this bit at the end of the video, because otherwise you're going to be sore in the morning at best. Or over time you might pull something, so always do the stretch down. And then we swap sides on the swimmer stretch. Okay, onto the calf stretch, and then bring your arms behind as well. So with the calf stretch, as you can see, rear leg is straight. You should feel it in the belly of your calf. front leg is slightly bent, and by bringing the arms back as I've done, that will stretch your chest out at the same time. And then we'll swap sides, and then you're going to hug a beach ball, which stretches out your traps and your neck and upper back. Okay, going to stretch the hamstrings next. Take one leg forward and keep it straight. You want your toes pulling up towards your shin, and you should feel a nice pull down the back of your thigh. Sometimes it goes into the top of your calf as well. It's a flexibility thing. And of course do the other leg. Okay, onto your quads now. So you pull your foot towards your bottom, doesn't have to touch. Again, flexibility, everyone's different, but you do want to feel the pull down the front of your thigh, and try and keep your knees fairly close together. And then you swap sides. Different viewpoint, just because. Okay, triceps. So you're going to grab one elbow and just pull it to try and get the hand down your back. So don't pull too hard, obviously, just enough to feel that stretch in the back of your arm. Two sides as always, or both sides. And then we're going to just pull the arm across just to stretch the shoulder and the bicep. You don't want to lean on the elbow, so either place your arm between the shoulder and the elbow, or between the elbow and the wrist, whichever's more comfortable, and just give it a gentle pull across the body. Shake it out and you're all done. Well done. You've made it to the end. Have a drink, have a snack like a banana or a cereal bar. See you soon. Take care.